Okay. Hello, Jane. Welcome in. Dinner was good. Sorry about that. I don't know what the hell is doing right now. So, we're here. Eventually, things get hooked up. It's very odd right now. Sorry if you hear that. That is. Okay, that should be good. It looks like it's slightly off center, but my phone decided to not be charged all of a sudden. There we go. We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay. So dinner was good. We actually came up with like a couple of plans for dinners in the future, which is nice because I think they'll be much more like summer friendly as the temperatures warm up. Lots of avocado in the future, and buying more chicken breast because it came out really good. The little niblets of chicken came out actually very nice. I have to open up chat. If I remember how to do that. What do we want to go with? Some awkward number. Let's go with 31. 31 sounds good, right? 31 would be it. Yeah, let's go 31 minutes. Boom. Hopefully, since most people came early, they shouldn't show up tonight. Which means it should be a shorter stream. I have a list of people who come after the countdown. So I know what's going on. But as far as I know, people shouldn't pop in because yeah. On my list there's a couple of people who have like consistently shown up at the timer mark, and that is one of them. So specifically that person has the most. I know some people like to, unfollow or unsubscribe because they don't want it in their activities or whatever. But at the same time, it's like you're just screwing with people's analytics and stuff, and that's not fun. I don't really care necessarily, but it would be nice to see those people because I know I think that's the worst one is like when they're not the most consistent. It makes it worse. Or when they're not the most consistent, like when they show up and they're not there when you call their name. They have 20 accounts and then they subscribe and subscribe. It's just like, come on, choose one. Oh, I don't think anybody's going to show up. Let me close this on. Ooh, I think we're lucky. I think that means early night. I'll give it a few more. I'll go to like 20, 12, 20, or 20, 23 and see what happened. But oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Um there's a lot of planning. I know there was something the other day, some festival or something that I didn't know about. So what else could it be? Oh, I didn't think about that. I know YouTube is changing some search settings, and I think they're prioritizing vertical streaming um, over horizontal, which they won't let me actually enable, which is weird. But that's fine. I prefer the daytime for the most part because I feel like it just it doesn't tire me out as much. But in case anybody wants to pop in at night. I tried to set it, but it didn't let me set it on my phone, so I don't know, they might say it, but it might not be activated on my account. You know how like it's a rollout, right? Yeah. And to me they're not doing a good job of it. Hello, Kalinda. They're just like throwing me off when they're doing these. it's also like glitching out for me, I should say that. Today it glitched out on the earlier stream. It glitched out when I was trying to load into it, when I was trying to save the or not save it, when I was trying to change it and then save the changes. It was glitching out when it came to like when I how do I put like when it goes into the stream, the studio, right? The live streaming studio thing. There's 3 tabs in it, and the first tab is the one that you have to edit in order to open up chat. So you have to click on edit, then you have to click on that first tab, then you have to click on edit, then you have to click on the live chat settings in the pop-up. When I went to click on live chat, it wouldn't load through, because normally I do it approved users first, but it wouldn't load through to that approved users thing. So I know that's where I was having an issue. I do too. I don't like the way the chat loads. You know, I'm not too big on that style. It just seems very odd to me. But I also like you can't maintain it as easily as you can this aspect of it. But it is pretty annoying. Yeah, and it's like I don't know what they want. I know the whole TikTok thing, but I don't know what they're aiming for, because they get views on vertical or horizontal, right? Perfectly fine, because that's what most people do. So I don't know why they're prioritizing that vertical for, you know, what reason. They're barely implementing the shopping, you know, like it's on TikTok. So it's not like why would you implement vertical streaming and then implement the shopping? That just makes no sense to me. Like, at least having both at the same time, I can understand. But it's just like, it's a whole issue for me. But I don't want to stream like that. Also, it narrows it out. I can't display the cards like I normally do when it's vertical. I'd have to keep it narrow. I'd have to change the yeah, I've seen them. I've scrolled through where you could see the what you call it. I'm like, how is that any better than this? I'd much rather have that defined chat. And I know like Twitch is doing it, and I've tried to look at it horizontal or vertical. I've tried, but it's just, it takes away from the layout. I don't like the way that Twitch is doing it. You lose so much of the, you know, area that you can watch, especially if it's a video game. Like, you're losing majority of the screen. The game is being played widescreen, not narrow, you know. So why are you going to cut off majority of the game. They are not handmade. They're just bulk bought and cheap. Let's see what's going on. Changes. And one major clarifier for that 9 of Swords. Because we want to know if it's ending, if it's saying something big is coming, if there's, you know, news on the horizon. Ooh, the Emperor. Okay, so interesting. We have the Emperor clarifying the 9 of Swords. So we're seeing a little more control in a situation that seems to be all over the place. This does seem like something that you're still having to sort through, or at least reevaluate, so that, you know, it might be just something that's still going on for you, but it's improving. You're getting a clear sign of things that are, you know, much more beneficial for you in the future. I feel like there's many opportunities that are coming toward you, and not things that are holding you back, because I feel like that was a major problem of things like not you know, for the best. Lots of setbacks, lots of frustrations, but getting control over a nightmare seems pretty good. Oh, we have one hidden. Who is this? Ooh, I didn't even notice. Yeah, so we're seeing better things, especially with that. Like, things are being revealed to you. Over the next month, I feel like there's some people coming toward you, offering you help to move you out of whatever situation you might be in that's causing you frustrations. It is a big change. There's a lot of things that are going on in order to get you to this stage. So to see it, it's good, but, you know, don't expect everything to happen, right? Don't expect everything to happen overnight. Sometimes people expect it to come through like super, super fast, but this feels like it's a gradual change for you. Sorry. We have a lot of wands, a lot of fire. With the King of Wands, 6 of Wands, 8 of Wands. The Emperor is also a fire energy. So it's a big uptake in action. Less delay, less like just sitting around, like we're saying, you know, like just stuck, right? We're seeing less of that stuck, more movement forward. A big drastic change out of that 9 of Swords. 9 of Swords is that, you know, that pretty suffering key, you know, to the tarot deck of like worst cards, right? You know, the like central figure in a lot of, like, next to the 10 of Cups, or 10 of Cups, next to the 10 of Swords. That is like a prime example of things just not being good. The only difference between the 9 of Swords and the 10 of Swords when it comes to these like changes or whatever that are coming through is we don't see pure destruction or like the inability to move forward that we would see with the 10 of Swords. We see that it's just something that repeats itself, right? So it's something that's going on over and over, and you're wanting out of the situation. And that's where we see these changes coming through, moving you forward and getting you into that Emperor where you're the one that's more making the choices. Strong movement. So this could actually be relocation, like actually moving from one house, one place to another. This can also indicate a big burst of energy for you to go after new things, like a new job or a new path, something that really resonates with you, so that you're not stuck in this situation where it just feels very, you know, repetitive. But you are getting that burst of energy. It does say that there's a lot coming on at once when it does finally come through. But Magician is a great card to like take advantage of what's coming through to you. Everything that is going to be thrown your way will benefit you, will get you to um like this better energy, this better place, mentality, right? So just you being, you know, I feel like a lot happier and a lot less frustrated with people, places, or things, right? So I feel like you're getting a good movement. It's not you in that place where I know like it's not the best. I know it's a lot of difficulty for you right now. I know there's a lot of things that you'd like to change, and that it just seems like um it's repeating. Cards aren't going to necessarily tell you flat out what's going on. They will tell you what's coming toward you. So, if the Emperor is that card, it can say that somebody of a higher status, somebody who's very stable, well off, somebody who has a good like position in life is coming toward you as help, assistance, guidance. I'm going to allow you smoother movement. You know, they might just be somebody who's there to say like these are the steps that you need to take in order to get to, you know, where you want to be. So. Okay, I'll give it a few more minutes and then I'll get on the road to nowhere. That's true. You gotta have like a either specific um question in mind or just anything in like free for all. I've had that, but it's usually the opposite for me, honestly. People usually ask for love or get mad that it's not about romance or something. Um, most people get mad that it ends up as a career reading or like a general, like, focus on you kind of, what is actually general. But I'm just, if you just ask what is specifically on your mind. I know. I don't, I don't think I'll ever. Yeah. Well, I think too, like, if you think about it, there's the, like, if you're asking for a general, you're asking for what's, like, the most, vital thing to you at that moment, what you need to know, rather than what you want to know, and to understand that there's a difference between the two, um, can be pretty hard. It can be something that you sort of are in denial of. But if you don't get that, get what you want, sometimes you have to ask about what you want rather than what you need. And that's really the difference. You gotta acknowledge it, accept it, and move forward with it. If you want to know um, what's happening in your life, anywhere, at whatever aspect, that's what you gotta go with. Hi, Nibadita. How you doing? I hope you're good. Let me put some hearts in the chat for you. Hearts. There we go. I'm doing good. How are you? How's the fam? I am going on. Where she is. Oh, it's hot there. Ooh. Okay, let's see. For nibbies. Do we like this person? She's doing good. She's trying to get, well, her and her husband's trying to get a visa to, or a work visa, and they found somebody who, or one of the uncles is offering a job, so hopefully that one will be accepted by the family and not, you know, thrown off. But otherwise, just the usual with the arguments to the fam, but otherwise she's doing good. Okay, we have the High Priestess, the Three of Pentacles, we have the Six of Cups, King of Cups, Two of Pentacles. Yeah, well, he's, you know, struggling with the family as well. But I think they're doing their best. Queen of Pentacles. Oh, Queen of Cups. We got a couple. So, we got some good cards for you. It looks like we have some good intentions, some good energy from this person. They seem very honest. Not the best when it comes to communication, so I'm not sure if, like, this person's completely struggling when it comes to talking or expressing themselves. But it does feel to me like there's good communication, or a desire for good communication. Not the best, though. They seem nice. We do have a couple with that King of Cups and Queen of Cups. That's a good connection to have for you. I think this person seems nice. They seem like somebody who's honest and approaching you with true intentions and nothing to, you know, seriously worry about. Nothing at all to worry about, really, that I'm seeing. If they're not the best at communication, that's just something that, you know, is you know, we're not all good at communication. But I'm feeling pretty good about him, about this person. Now, do we like this person is the question. Yeah. Kind of. This is a good person. Yeah. We'll take it day by day. See what happens. It looks good. It looks good. You have very good cards for this relationship. You have the Six of Cups, which is a very good connection. Somebody who's very well aware of who they are, their emotions. They might be somebody who gets a little overly emotionally attached, and this might be due to their difficulties with communication, like really expressing themselves. Um, but there is a true connection along those cards. I'd say allow it time to develop. You know, just take it day by day. That's the only thing you can do is take it day by day and see what comes of it. Don't be too worried. You know, if you block off your heart from everyone, then you know you might regret that. Don't let that happen. Don't regret it. But for me, it looks like something that's good. I'd say go ahead and move forward with it. Be mindful. Don't get too attached. Make sure you see every aspect of this person, flaws and all. And you know, just allow yourself to pursue happiness. Yes. You got this. I send you love. I know you're gonna find the right person. Hopefully this is somebody who matches up, works well with you. Cynthia's happy. I know she is. She just has to deal with family where sadly she can't really have control over that. I wish, you know. Yeah. I hate that. You know, it does honestly. She's been busy, you know. She just has a different schedule, and seems like when you're here, she's not, and when she's here, you're not. I know. Hello, Salama. Welcome in. Yes, she's doing good. Her hips doing well. She's trying to adjust it to some new medications. She sends all her love, of course, to you. She says hello. Okay. Her hips doing great. It's actually been really good for the last couple of months. She did his best. Okay, we have the Emperor, the Six of Swords, the Eight of Wands, the Ace of Swords, Five of Pentacles, Knight of Wands. Let's get one good pentacle out. Okay, we got King of Pentacles. That's a good pentacle to have come out. It does look like it'll either be late, July, possibly into August, that you'll have this job come through. For some reason, it's not coming through very fast, and it seems like it's more of, I don't know, like a trial error kind of situation where it seems like it's going to work, but then there's an issue, and then, like, you know, it just keeps sort of heading in um that direction. But hopefully, you know, it's like the first week of August that you end up with this job. It does seem what's right for you. It will get you into the right position. You'll get the funds you need, the energy that seems like more positive than the past situations that you've been in. You also have the King of Pentacles, which says you'll have success. You know, that's normally a card that indicates good money, uh, finances, right? A good paying job, something that stays with you for a long time. It's definitely something that will be right for you. It just feels like it's not immediate. I don't feel it to be in July. It's feeling more like August for this to come through, because you're still moving forward right now. Over the next month, it doesn't feel like it's quite firm yet, but when it does come through, it's really great. You keep in search of it, because it's still something you have to go out and find. It's not going to come to you. It's not going to like knock on your door. It's definitely, you have to look for it. But when it does come through, you will have success with it, and it'll definitely be something that's, you know, right up your alley. It's just seemingly on the slower arrival. But I'll send you good vibes in hopes that it comes through quicker. It might. You know, sometimes the timelines I see are not accurate. Sometimes the cards can tell you one story and then it changes up completely based off of your actions, and it might come through quicker, you know. That is true. Well, unfortunately, we have. Yeah. That is also radical consciousness. That's interesting. Yeah. That's interesting. I do love looking up those, the background on those. I understand punishment for things that aren't necessarily anybody's fault is pretty screwed up. I don't know if it has a limit. I think we create limits because of our experiences. And sadly, we limit ourselves because of that. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. I knew somebody who, and I really despised it. It was like their way of interpreting things always bothered me because they were very, like, judgy, but at the same time, they were the type that was like, acting very kind, acting like they were unflawed. And they'd always bring up karma. They'd always bring up that somebody else was going to get their karma, but they do basically the exact same things as that other person. And it bothered me so much because their interpretation of their own flaws, it was always justified no matter what they did. It was always justified. And I think that's where Like, we could say karma, we could say laws of whatever, but when it comes down to it, I think that individual mindset just is so sucky. No. No, it would bother me so much because they would constantly do things. Like, they would try to screw with, like, this one person in particular. And, but she'd act like she was perfect all the time. And they did that a lot, where they were like calling everybody out on what they did, you know. But they were also the type to say that everybody was a narcissist when they didn't agree to what they were saying. And it sucked because it was like, you knew they were hurting people, but they would never change their ways because they were too, I don't know, narcissistic themselves. Yeah. But then things would happen and they'd, you know, I would talk to them and they'd ask me, or they'd say stuff and I'd be like, you know, this is why, or, you know, if you look at it this angle, you'd understand. But, of course, you know, I was never correct on it. Mainly because my opinions made them look flawed. Yeah. I honestly, I see a lot of sucky people thrive. And it, no, I haven't. It looks terrifying. Um, it sucks, but, you know, I can't really get mad with what the universe has decided. Cannibal Holocaust is a 1980 Italian cannibal horror film directed by Ruggero Deodato and written by Gianfranco Clarici. Stars Robert Kerman as Harold Monroe, an anthropologist who leads a rescue team into the Amazon forest to locate a crew of filmmakers who have gone missing while filming a documentary on local cannibal tribes. Produced as part of the contemporary cannibal trend of Italian exploitation cinema, Cannibal Holocaust was inspired by Italian media coverage of the Red Brigade's terrorism. Deodato believed the news reports to be staged, an idea that became integral to aspects of the film's story. Additional story elements were also influenced by the Mondo documentaries of Gualtiero, the Jackal Petty, particularly the presentation of the documentary crew's lost footage, which constitutes approximately half of the film. Treatment of this footage, which is noted for its visual realism, innovated the found footage style of filmmaking that was later popularized in American cinema by the Blair Witch Project. I won't spoil it. Cannibal Holocaust was filmed primarily on location in the Amazon rainforest of Colombia, with a cast of mostly inexperienced American and Italian actors interacting with actual indigenous people. Cannibal Holocaust is ignored as a graphic violence arises a great deal of controversy. It was ordered to be seized by the magistrate. The film was released from seizure in 1982 and banned in the United Kingdom, Australia, South Africa, and several other countries because of its graphic content, including sexual assault and general violence toward animals. Although some nations have since revoked the ban, it is still upheld in several countries. It sounds terrifying. You should watch it at least once. Hi, Cynthia. How you doing? Nibadita was asking about you. I'm good. I hope you're doing good. I hope the family's not being jerky. Let's just stay. I know, isn't it a pretty picture of her? Okay, let's see. I'll just say what that was. I know. We were talking about them. Okay, we have King of Wands, Two of Cups, Seven of Swords. We're not going to take that as bad yet. We're going to see what comes out. Oh, Queen of Swords. Cups. Three of Cups. We have... Oh, we have the Ace of Swords. Okay, that's interesting. That's a big swap for those two cards. Okay. Oh, we have Ace of Cups. Okay, so I'm going to take it as a good sign that things are changing, that there's better communication coming through over the next couple of months. Feels like the next 2 months are very important, since there's a lot going on. We do have movement, we have communication, we have a lot more like emotional peace rather than being all over the place like it has been. I do feel like said he will talk to his brother about that we're pregnant. He said he didn't talk yet. Yeah. Well, that's the thing that I was. It doesn't feel like much communication at the moment, which of course is not the good thing or anything that I think any of us want to hear. But we do have side notes of communication, and I feel like that's where there's a little like inconsistency in what's going on. He's telling you one thing but doing something else. The good news is the Ace of Swords is a sign that things will straighten out. That there will be better communication and not something that's putting you in this position. Because I feel like once that starts, we see things start moving forward. We're not going to be stuck in something that's as negative. Reason, of course, for celebration. And that actual freedom that comes through with the Fool. So you not having to deal with these in-laws anymore. That seems to be maybe like 3 months from now. It does have like a little bit of a slower movement. I'm sure you're used to it, but there's quite a bit of Pisces. Um, there's just that communication that's really sucky, and that's unfortunate. But I feel like it's always been, struggling between the communication, the family being tugged between, um, both sections, right? It is a very difficult place to be, especially for you, because it's like, who does he side with, you or his family? I do feel like siding with you um, is something that will produce something a lot more positive, you know, something that's just so much more positive for both of you, so much more like freeing. It's just such a repetitive place to be right now. And I hope it does change, you know, quickly, so you don't have to deal with this much longer. He just needs that courage to act on, you know, to actually speak, to say how he feels. And you know, being a Pisces, being a water sign, frankly, um, yeah. And it's upsetting because I don't want you to feel like, you know, lousy over it. I don't, and definitely, like, people should be more considerate of how you're feeling in that situation. And it does suck that you don't seem to be considered by, you know, the family much. Like, you don't seem to be worried about as much as I feel like, um, as much as you should be. But hopefully, will happen soon enough. Like what I'm seeing right now, of course, we're entering a Mercury retrograde, so it might be a little harder to get that communication going. Like, to be honest, that's just a sucky time to try to get things done. It's a place where like lots of disagreements, confusion, difficulty conveying thoughts. You know, especially when it comes to a water sign, since it is in water, we see where it's just like an overflow of emotions. But, well, no, the thing is, when it comes to that, you should always remember that you're young, you know, and you still have a long time to, to live ahead of you. And we're not in, like, you know, the 1960s or 50s anymore, or even in the 80s, right? There's so much, life is so different now. There's so much time for you to get things done. There's, you know, so much ahead of you, so much for you to chase after. But, you know, I think the mindset of just being like, oh, um you need to do this at this time, you know, or you're running out of time, or you need to get stuff done according to another person's um time frame. This this is a sign that you don't have to necessarily like put a time frame on it. Although I'd like you to get out of the in-laws house area as soon as possible, because obviously I don't, they just, they're negative. But I think you take it, you know, in your own pace, what is um right for you, what you feel is necessary. And also, you know, if he was going to leave the country, you would have needed to be married um in order to move with him. So, you know, moving without each other wouldn't have been the best. So I think it was done with the right timing. Um, it probably wasn't like that. I feel like We're just on. Yeah, I know. And it's frustrating because it seems like they just don't want, and not even just you. I feel like, if they cared about him, they'd want you to be happy. So the fact that, um, neither side of this is really seeming to care is like his family, his extended family. It just seems like they aren't really caring about you or them, or him. I mean, I had to just bring about that ship. I know, and I'm hoping that this means that it's coming through soon. We have the Fool, and the Fool does have a new, fresh start. So I feel like those cards are very promising, and that this will come through for you. But of course, always praying for you, always, asking that things come through as soon as possible, and that you don't have to deal with this much longer. I know sometimes I sit there and think like I'm running out of time, or am I doing things in the right time? But I know that whatever is meant for me is going to appear at the right time. Whatever time frame is right for me is what I have to live with and accept. You want to finally have to be open and be positive. That is true. Both Jean and Cynthia on that one. You have to be positive. You also have to understand that it's a lot about patience, because if you jump into something too fast, then you ignore all the bad things, and it comes around to acknowledging them. When you acknowledge them, a lot of the time it's too late, and you're stuck in a position you don't want to be in. So you have to be slow about it. I know, like, a lot of people that come in these streams are like, when's the next one coming? But I think they get so distracted, so focused, fixated on one thing that they continuously allow the bad to return into their life, because they're not waiting, they're not patient, they're not waiting for this right person to come in. They're just allowing anyone to come in. was there for just to find out what I wanted from life. Yeah. And that, in itself is what a lot of people have a problem with, especially these days. It's like nearly impossible to find somebody who is in alignment with you. Yes, Louise. One person. Yeah. That's why I always said one and done, because it's just something that seems like, I don't know, just nothing can make you happy until you're happy. And that's true. And that's why I want you to have time for yourself, I want you to love you and not need another person, which is what you've been doing. You've been doing really good lately, just being with you. And that's a hard thing. A lot of people have such a difficult time loving themselves. Okay. Oh, sorry. Uh-oh. There's definitely some coming out upside down. Okay. You have to be the That is sadly so true. Okay, we have King of Cups. We have Ace of Pentacles. We have Seven of Pentacles. So this is a lot about being patient, waiting for this person to come toward you, to reach out to you. And I feel like they're building up some energy or some sort of courage to come forward and talk to you. We have a lot of cards that are like very trapped without a plan. That's a lot of difficulty in interaction and saying how they feel. So once again, I'd still give them a little time. I know sometimes you want somebody to act or come toward you a little more. It might be something where, it could be the time for you to go toward them, talk to them, communicate what you're feeling with them, see if they're interested in you, because, sometimes that's what needs to be done. That it's a more dependent upon communication entirely, rather than just like one-sided interaction or infatuation, or just, sucking at saying you're interested in somebody. So I do feel like that's something that needs to be done. You need to at least, try to say something, trying to communicate with them. But I do feel like there's some changes, there's some improvements. It seems to be more of a draw. So probably more interest in you, watching you from a distance, trying to figure out how to interact. But Probably not being the best at it since we don't have a lot of communication cards coming out. Still that struggle. But, you know, struggles aren't always a bad thing. Sometimes struggles are indicating, you know, it's worth it in the end. Um, like a pentacle card would always say, you have to nurture something, you have to make sure it grows in order to harvest it. It doesn't get there overnight. If we see the seed to the harvest date, it's not something that's like done in a millisecond. I do feel he is interested. It's just taking a while to get there. But if you haven't really communicated with him, I think it's time to do so. Before marrying will happen, I will talk to my friends to do this and how they're doing it. Yeah. But, you know, I know you care about your husband. So, as long as you have that goal in mind of, like, not having to deal with him in the future, or deal with them in the future, you know, it seems like I think you know what it is that's going on. I think your husband might be living in La La Land a little bit, but hopefully we see a change in that one soon. Because if he wants a good future, he's definitely going to have to, you know, stand up for himself, say something. I feel like too with all the people that come into this room, they can be heavily interested in somebody, and I could tell them, you know, it's never gonna happen, and they'll be like, okay, and then come back the next week and be like, so when is this gonna happen? So there are a lot of, like, you know, people that are just not in the mindset of, you know, knowing what they want, knowing what they're willing to put their energy into. And I think, you know, in this situation, making sure you want the person, feeling a connection, and willing to sort of like suffer in the meantime before things turn out good. Well, that's the thing. Like, you care about him. And if that is what's important to you, then you're gonna put up with it. You know, you're gonna stay with it, and I hope that it improves. But you're gonna say, for that relationship, for that connection, you know, that's sort of what you're gonna deal with for the time being. And then hopefully, you know, soon enough, you'll get to a place where it all works out. The good sign is that he has fought alongside you to get married rather than saying no or saying like he doesn't want it. They're notorious. No, they do the same thing here. It's the same thing everywhere. For some reason, in-laws will go down in history. Well, not all of them, but majority of them will go down in history as thinking that they have the right to control your life forever. And it's very unfortunate. And it comes down to every country, and it's not just one, and it sucks. You get a lot of the fake nice ones here. Those are the ones that you gotta be worried about. The fake nice ones that treat you really well, and they're like, oh my god, I love having you over. I love seeing you. And then you're gone. And they are just horrible. They talk so much about you. Yeah. So many expectations. And it's awful. Especially those ones that think that you'll never be good enough for their kid. That one's always awful. This is not your life. Yeah. Yeah. And that's a sucky thing. And one of those reasons I'm happy to not have that belief. I don't know what I'd do if that was like how to raise your. I probably wouldn't even, honestly, I probably wouldn't even get married if that was the case. Not like I'm a very rebellious person or anything, or very demanding of any kind. I just feel like yeah. But she's just picky. She got. Oh. Talk so much. Well, I'd like to get ready. I'm just not like, I gotta do it tomorrow. I'm not in a rush, I'm not trying to move in with somebody. Not trying to really change my life. Yeah, I'm very controlling. I like to control things. I'm not really willing to give up control. Oh my god. What the hell? That's terrible. Anything. All the housework immediately. Oh, no. No. That's terrible. I couldn't do that. I'm too defiant in like unnecessary ways. That just sucks. It really does. it's unfair to you. And I wish that that wasn't the case. And I know you want out of there, so. No, that's true. Entirely. Yeah. Well, at least you can go to your mother's house. That's good. You know, like you're not forced to stay there. I think that's a big thing with you when it Nibidita is like, I feel like you want freedom and know that marriage will tie you down. I know a lot here, like, everything is different, you know, everywhere. So it does suck that you're like the expectations that are put on you are so sucky. I wish that wasn't the case. I wish everybody had more freedom and that people were more um accepting of others. Yeah. Yeah. And when you're ready to commit, you're gonna, you know, find somebody who's also ready to commit. You're not gonna be like fighting against it. You'll know when it's the right time. You'll know when it's time to settle down. Maybe you're just not prepared for that. You know, maybe that's not something you're ready for. And then when you're ready to commit, the right person will come along to commit with. You know, but having society tell you that like this is what needs to be done, right? His other things. And that too is like he seems like like he cares about you, you know? If he didn't care about you, I'd have a problem with it, but dang, I've already hit the 2 hour mark. Oh my god. I also don't want you to be stuck in a position where you just really feel like it's not good for you. And I figure that more for you, nobody than anyone else, you know. Just being put in a place where the person doesn't respect you or the person doesn't love you. And you could say that, but I know you want somebody to care about you, which I'm sure is like, you know, if you get hurt. So there's obviously more to it. People feel like they have control over it. Yeah. Yeah. Now Caesar. Hey, you know, yeah. It might look that way, but you also have to look at it forward. Or actually from a different angle. Because in reality, this person has stuck up, right? You know, with all the fight back that Cynthia has faced with his family, if he didn't care about her, he wouldn't have, stayed with her because they definitely don't shut up, So he cares about her, and that's very obvious. It's just more so, what do they do? And I've never doubted that. I don't like the family. I'll say that a million times. I do not like his family. I will never like his family. But, I do know he cares about her. I don't think so. I think that Cindy understands where you're coming from on that one. Luckily. Cynthia gets you. Wow. He's good. He's good to be. He's trying to improve. He lacks awareness. But he's very sweet. Oh, I know that. And that's the thing is like honesty when it comes down to things is something that you can, if you're in a good mindset, you can appreciate. It's not possessive. You're just honest and caring. That's the thing that I've always said. People have a hard time with honesty, but people who are sane, people who understand you mean well, don't necessarily get offended by it. They get it. And I have nobody. I love you so much. All this time, all this back and forth, and I know you have a big heart, and it's hard for you to communicate with people, and people have a hard time understanding you. I can by someone else, are no longer part of family. This is dad. And that's why I know too, Nibidita, that somebody right is out there, for you. You can imagine how toxic his family is. What they say, the truth hurts, but at the same time, the truth hurts. It gives us the opportunity to be aware of a situation, And some people would rather stay in a very toxic situation and act like everything's fine than actually acknowledge the truth. You also have to be proud of yourself and hold yourself up. You know your worth so that you will only bring in what is worthy of you. Don't settle for people. Don't think like you think poorly of yourself. You're going to attract people who will think poorly of you and treat you bad. I have plans on everything. That's why I always pray that you all have something good come into your life. That things move forward. That things are successful. That you get all the things that you need. That you're hoping for. And that you're happy. And I know that it can't happen overnight. I know things take, quite a while. But I hope it comes through sooner. Yeah. Well, it is a year of 10, which goes back down to 1, which is like the end of one stage and the beginning of a new stage. So hopefully that means that we're seeing the last remnants of the previous stage and we're entering something brand new and very positive for us. Okay. I think it's getting late. And 2 of us should head to bed. So, I'm going to send all the positives, all the good vibes. I will keep you all, of course, in my prayers. And say that it will turn out fantastic for all of you. All good energy in the future. What needs to happen will happen. Everything in their right timing. Everything as it needs to. I will see you all. Hold on. I'm not sure if I'll stream on Saturday. Normal time. I might delay it by a day because it's 4th of July and it's a big deal this year. So it might be a little on the loud side. And I just don't want it to be like bombardment. So I might postpone it by a day. So rather than it being nighttime right now, it'll be the next night over. So I just, you know, we'll see as it comes, but it's the 250th 4th of July. So cray-crayness. So I send you all the good vibes, finger hearts, lots of love, all the good vibes, all the good wishes, all the good energy. I hope it's not too hot either. I'm hoping for a good weather, no humidity, please. I'm really hoping that humidity dies down because I can't deal with the humidity. But I send you the goods. Bye. I'll be sure to say whether or not it's what you call it, whether or not it's going to be on the 4th or the 5th. Bye.